Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy AJ Tripp, and welcome to the game according to me. This is where I talk about the goings on in the world of sports and professional wrestling. And we got a good show for you today. We're going to talk about the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. We're going to talk about last night's college football national championship game, and of course, we're going to talk about the Major League Baseball suspensions. Wow. So let's start with what happened Saturday in Santa Clara. We had the 49ers and the Minnesota Vikings, and this was a just a barn burner. What we had here was without question a dominant performance. The 49ers defense just stopped the run game of Minnesota, and they got pressure on Kirk Cousins. That was pretty much it. It started off almost like it was going to be a shootout. We had a touchdown from San Francisco, and then Minnesota answered right back with a touchdown of their own. But after that, it just really became all about the ground game, and they ran. San Francisco ran the ball. It was funny because there was I think Jimmy Garoppolo threw an interception. I think Minnesota uh, kicked a field goal, and then after that, it just really became just about the run game. And they had a drive where they ran the ball just 8 straight times down Minnesota's throat, and it's kind of awesome to see a little bit. And then Minnesota their defense just took over, and it was just really amazing to see about that. So that first game was incredible. Was San Francisco won 27 to 10. I think for those of y'all who hate on Kirk Cousins, it was not his fault. Um, those are one of those games where you can't say that if Minnesota had a better game, if Minnesota had a better quarterback, the game would have changed. No, I don't think so. I think that defense would have taken out anybody. I think the defense would have taken out Peyton Manning. So it's just yeah. So you can't blame Kirk Cousins for that. You can't blame a lot of people. You just gonna say San Francisco was better, and they were better in all facets of the game, and they made their offense and their defense not not as good as it was the week before against New Orleans. So that was the first game of Saturday. The night game was the Tennessee Titans against the Baltimore Ravens, and I was not going to be shocked if Tennessee beat Baltimore, but the way they did shock me. I mean, it was it's just you knew what their plan was. It was just to run the ball control, keep that offense off the field. But their defense really took it to Baltimore. They had what they really mainly did was they had Lamar Jackson not go horizontal, not go vertical. He went horizontal. They had him. That's what they had him do. They had to make sure that you know, when he ran, that he ran towards the sidelines and not up the field. I thought that was a very good play. And Lamar Jackson then he didn't have his best game. It was better than the game he had last year, the playoffs, but he didn't have his best game. He had some turnovers, and that also always is a big deal. You can't turn the ball over like they did, and that's just gonna give the ball right back to Tennessee. So, and Mark Ingram wasn't himself, so I don't know if they could run the ball effectively with him, yeah, as they probably as they wanted to. So Tennessee came in there and they hit him in the mouth and everything, and they made it so that he was going, Derrick Henry was going to be the guy. And Ryan Tannehill, he's just, I know some people are like, well, he's not doing what they need to do, but I think it's the opposite. I think he proved in the regular season that he could play the play the position of quarterback very well, and he's proved it in Miami too. There's a lot of things, injuries, and again, maybe he's not on the level of many others, but what he has now in Derrick Henry is a great running game. And they're right now what they're just doing is they're just using that. They're using that to take time off the clock, and they're using that to, to just calm down with Ryan, with Ryan Tannehill. And yeah, he's throwing 14, 13 passes a game, and he's not throwing for over 100 yards, but he's doing what he needs to do to win, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters when you get to the playoffs. And and that's the biggest thing. And we'll see what happens next week in the AFC Championship game. So good on them. Good on them for the Tennessee Titans. And I was kind of rooting for them. I'm always been like an underdog person, so um, I was big on them with the underdogs, and I can't root for a team right now whose motto is big trust. So I can't do it right now. So you need to come up with another motto. But Tennessee won, and that was a pretty interesting Saturday. There's some, I wouldn't say good games because blowout, but I guess you can't say good games. I think that's one thing we have to do. We have to stop saying that a 28-12 or 27-10 game is maybe not really close is not a good game. It can be a good game. It can be a good game because you can enjoy what you're seeing with San Francisco and Tennessee and their dominance. So you can enjoy that. So um, then we go to Sunday, and Sunday now again we're talking about another good game. And this game was obviously the game of the weekend because of just how it started off. Houston jumped out to a 24-0 lead, and I wonder if how the game would have changed if they would have went for it on fourth down, um, and well, yeah, they would have went for it on fourth down, and they would have gone down and got the touchdown. But instead, they went ahead and they kicked the field goal to make it 24-0 instead of 28-0. I wonder if that would have changed anything with Kansas City, if they would have changed their, their motto or their resolve or anything like that. Hey, we're down 4 touchdowns. But when you down 24, it's still with the, even with the 2-point conversion, you say, hey, we're only down 3 scores. We get a score a quarter, you know, then we're back in it. If we get a score a quarter, we're back in it. So, um, I wonder if that was their case. And boy, they did more than get a score a quarter. They went and they scored like 4 touchdowns in a span of 10 minutes or something like that. And it was there was some a fake punt that went awry, and then on a kickoff, the receiver, the running back, the returner lost the football and everything, and so that was uh that was incredible. And then they had to, and then they came out of half. They scored on 7 straight touchdowns. They scored 7 straight touchdowns on 7 straight possessions. The Kansas City, and it was beautiful to see. And and it just proved that once again you have to enjoy what Patrick Mahomes is doing and the quarterback that he is, and just the stuff that it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And he's just so fun to watch. And I know Lamar Jackson, he deserves the MVP this year, but I think this is going to be one of those things where I think for years to come, that MVP is going to be Patrick Mahomes to lose. It really is. So I really think because the way he just plays is fantastic. It really, really is. In Kansas City, they did what they needed to do, and they put up 51 on that Houston Texans team. They put up 51, and came back from 24 down. Just again, just amazing comeback. And I think Houston, they were just, they had 24 lead, and I don't think, true. Then they had some. again the fake punt went awry, and then they lost the return fumble on the return, and also they, and then once again going back to that fourth down where they were going to go for it, they called a timeout, we thunk it, and then kicked the field goal. But and there's a part of me that wonders if that would have changed anything, but I don't know. I think Kansas City was going to make a come. Maybe they wouldn't have scored 51 points, but they were going to make a comeback. So, um, yeah, that was a fantastic game to watch Sunday afternoon. And then the night game between the Packers and the Seahawks were that was nice too, and it was really really good. Um, Action. The best running back on the field was Russell Wilson. He was just running for his life, and but it just the thing even taking off um Marshawn Lynch off the street and Robin Turbin off the street, it wasn't going to go down, unfortunately, for Seattle. I think the Packers were just too much Aaron Rodgers with the old Aaron Rodgers of old, making throws, unbelievable throws, and everything like that. So I think Aaron Rodgers, um, I think he's looking for that second championship, and I think he sees it in sight, and he sees that this could be his very last chance, because the Minnesota Vikings are getting good, and well, not getting good. They are good, and they can continue to be good in this division. Um, the talent that he has around him in Green Bay is starting to decline, or not, or they're not getting the talent enough, and he's starting to get older. And I think he may be starting to decline. And I'm not gonna say anything about my Bears, because the Bears are just they seem to be mired in mediocrity right now. So as good as their defense is, you know, and particularly their quarterback, their offense is just blah. So I don't know, but I think this is pretty much more on the Vikings and maybe even the Lions, because you can see the Lions are a good team. Every loss the Lions had this year was by one score or less, seemingly. You know, or at least it was one. It was at 1.1 score. Then maybe somewhere later on I think maybe with a fumble return or interception return, it went to two scores, but it was less than one score. I mean, they were a lot better than they were, and you take that into next year, and that could easily turn around. They could win those games, and they can be, instead of being 3-11-1, or 3-11 and 3-12-1, or whatever they was, they could be 12-3-1 or 12-4 next year easily. So I think Aaron Rodgers sees the eye on the prize, and I think he's right now looking to try to get his team into that Super Bowl, and to try to win another one, before it's too late. So yeah, I think that was it. Some really really fantastic stuff this weekend. So then we look at the AFC Championship game. We got the Tennessee Titans going to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. And listen, I am like I said earlier, I am totally for the underdogs, and I am about the Titans right now. I want the Titans to get to that Super Bowl. I want them to, as much as I love Patrick Mahomes, and if the Chiefs make it, that'll be even better, because I would love to see Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. But I am rooting for the Titans to get there with Derrick Henry, with Ryan Tannehill, and with Coach Vrabel. I am rooting for them to make it. And the NFC Championship game will be Green Bay or San Francisco. I think this is not going to be the domination game that it was on Sunday Night Football several weeks back. I think this is going to be a hard fought game. I think we're going to see the best of Aaron Rodgers. I think we're going to see the best of Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think it's going to be two teams going straight at it. And again, who knows who can win? I think if I was going to root for somebody, I would root for San Francisco, because once again, but both teams came out of nowhere, so to speak, as people were not, people were not thinking that they would be the teams to come out of the division, especially me. Even well, actually I did because I kind of predicted it with the way I predict stuff. So because I predicted the Packers to like I think I predicted them to be 13-3. Actually, I have to go back and check my predictions, but you could a lot of other people were not predicting the Green Bay Packers to be so great. They thought it would take another year because of their talent, but they forgot about that man, Aaron Rodgers, and what he can do, and he can make that talent better. And one of the people who stepped up was Aaron Jones, the running back. He stepped up big time, became a top 10 running back. Again, a guy who can score from the running game, who can score from the passing game. He became a big time player this year, and so I get in San Francisco again. Once again, came out of nowhere. You people would have thought it would have been the Los Angeles Rams, going back, or even the Seattle Seahawks coming back into the fold for the NFC West. But San Francisco stepped up and they made a battle for it. And you talk about one loss, one score games. They had a ton of one score games as well. So this should be a barn burner, but I think I'm gonna choose San Francisco again, just because Jimmy G and what they've been through and what you really didn't expect. Maybe you expected Green Bay to be good, or to be, but you wouldn't have expected San Francisco to be this. You have said Jimmy G coming off the torn ACL, you could see maybe a 6-10, season with them, and then maybe next year they would take that leap, you know, and then maybe you would you expect maybe Green Bay to be, around mediocre 8-8, 9-7, 7-9, something like that. You expected them to be better, but to be 13-3 and the number one seed overall. That's not what you expected from San Francisco. So um, I am gonna hope for a Tennessee Titans San Francisco Super Bowl uh, come February. So that's what I am rooting for. But if any other iteration of it happens, the Super Bowl happens, I'm not gonna be upset. This is not some, if the Tennessee Titans lose, even though I'm kind of rooting for them now to be the underdog, it would be okay. But it's no big deal for me. I just want to see some great football next Sunday. And also, before we end this the NFL segment, let's also give some amazing work. Saturday, Bill Cowher was surprised by David Baker, the head of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, announced that he would be one of the people enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He'll be enshrined in at the thing in August, and then Sunday, Jimmy Johnson was announced that he would be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, enshrined in August. So really really fun. Both guys were emotional. Both guys were very grateful for this, and we're gonna find out more tomorrow morning. So we'll see who else will be a part of this centennial class of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And once again, I say this again. I said this before. I really wish they would have decided to put um, 10 modern era players in instead of you know 5. They should have put 10 in. But they decided not to do that. So that's unfortunate, for them. So, but yeah, congratulations to Bill Cowher and Jimmy Johnson, members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So for the national championship game, and if you go to my YouTube channel, AJ Tripp, I did a reaction to it, and I get into more detail right afterwards. But after 12 hours later or something like that, just a really quick thought on it. what a great season for LSU. One of the best seasons of all time. They went 15-0, second team to do that. Clemson did last year. Won a national championship. Joe Burrow, just amazing. He had 60 touchdowns and he had over 5,000 yards, I believe. Won the Heisman. He's one of six players, I think, to ever win the Heisman and a national championship. I think the others were Charlie Ward, Danny Werfel. There was somebody else. His name was I can't think of who it was right now. It was somebody else. Then there was Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, and then Joe Burrow. And it was just what a fantastic year for LSU. So, um, and Coach O and what the stuff that we talked about, what he did right, him getting the interim job at USC, going 6-2, and then not even being considered for the USC job, and then coming to LSU, and I found out this morning that he was almost really considered for LSU job as well. You know, they were trying to get Tom Herman to be their coach, and you know he was so disappointed, but then he's got the LSU job. He's from Louisiana. He loves the state of Louisiana. So good on Coach O, I think, for him winning. Good on Joe Burrow, and as for the game itself, it was a pretty interesting game. You know, almost started off like the Kansas City Houston game where Clemson jumped out to a 17-point lead, but LSU came back, and then not only did they come back, they came back in a massive way, scoring 6 touchdowns and 42 points, and you know, causing Clemson to only have another touchdown, and came out right after halftime, but they did a great job on Trevor Lawrence. They did a great job, the LSU defense did on their receivers and running backs, and of course that offense was just too dominant to stop. So LSU won the national championship last night, and Clemson, they had a terrific run. They really did. They hadn't lost in over 2 years. It was just a fantastic game for them. And congrats to Clemson. And next year, I think they're going to be right back into the spot that they were. I think not only because of Trevor Lawrence and the dominance and Dabo Sweeney and what he can do, but also it's the ACC. I mean, let's be honest, the ACC, even though the ACC is probably the weakest of the Power Five, in my opinion. Um, and I don't know if there's anybody that's going to step up in the ACC to take over. You know, we can find out next year. Of course, I will have my predictions as always, and make sure you are here when I do it, or on YouTube, or whenever I do it. So, um, but yeah, it was just you know I expect expect Clemson to be back into the national championship picture next year. And and there's gonna be a lot of teams fighting for it. Oklahoma's, I don't think you can rule out Oklahoma. I don't think you can rule out LSU and Alabama. Um, I don't think you can rule out Ohio State. I'm through giving Michigan any type of. Michigan's gonna have to prove it to me. Michigan's gonna have to be Missouri, because Missouri is the show me state. They're gonna have to show me that they can, they are worthy of, any of my predictions of them winning a national title anymore. They just can't beat. They can't beat Ohio State. They can't get past Ohio State. So get past Ohio State first, then I'll start thinking about beating. I'll start thinking about, picking you to win a national championship. So, but yeah, there's gonna be a lot of teams battling for it, and we will have to wait and see where about the transfer portal and who transfers where and what happens and all that other stuff. But yeah, I think right now, I think one team that you can say will be in the college football playoff next year should be Clemson. Uh, and as I say that, watch they end up with like a 7-5 season somehow. finally, how about this breaking news? Coming out from the Major League Baseball. Um, they had um, they were doing into the digging into the accusations that the Astros had been using technology to steal signs. Um, and particularly the 2017 season when they won their World Series. And after doing some investigation and talking about it, Major League Baseball found out that these seem to be had merit and there seemed to be some truth to these. So they went ahead and they fined the Houston Astros $5 million, the most that they could under the collective bargaining agreement. They took away 4 draft picks, a first and second rounder in 2020 and a first and second rounder in 2021, and they suspended the GM Jeff Lunau and the manager AJ Hinch for a full year, not a full calendar year, but a full baseball year. And they fired them. And then the Astros came out and decided, well, we need to, we can't have this. So Jim Crane, the owner of the Astros, then fired Lunau and AJ Hinch. And that's just not, that's not it. There seems to be more coming from Alex Cora, he seems to be the mastermind of all of this. He seems to be the one that was taking down. He was putting up monitors, and he was using technology, and there's been some stuff about him using this in Boston as well to steal signs. And when Boston won, they won the next championship in 2018. So Alex Cora, he was a bench coach for Houston, and he seems to be the one that is going to be he's going to be like the mastermind, and he seems to be like he could be the one that he could get even more. He can get suspended for even 1 year, more years, maybe even a lifetime ban because of the stuff that he was doing in Astros and this stuff that he's probably still doing now in Boston. So there's more to come with this scandal with the stealing signs and everything like that, and it is going to be a cluster of stuff of information to come out, and it is going to be fantastic. And I'll start the new Mets coach Carlos Beltran was a player on 2017, the 2017 Houston Astros. And he seems to be like the whistleblower, I guess. He's the one that was talking about this, and he was talking about everything that, everything they did with the monitors and the banging of the trash cans and everything like that. So this is, I think this is just getting started, and they didn't give them the NCAA version of the death penalty, but it would be fun. It would be interesting to see if not only if like a team in professional sports would ever get something like the death penalty, where like all the draft picks are taken away, and then like they are, they're supposed to do business with a smaller cap than everybody else. I wonder if that would ever happen. I don't know. I don't think so. But man, that's a lot of people. Some people are asking. Some people are saying that this could be like a death penalty situation for the Houston Astros, and a death penalty situation for Alex Cora. So I cannot wait for more information to come out. I cannot wait to hear what Alex Cora gets, what he does, and anything like that. And how does this affect Boston? Will he get fired from Boston as well? After the firing from AJ Hinch and Jeff Lunau and down in Houston. So just fascinating. And what a 24 hours for Houston, right? The Astros and what they're going through, and the Texans and what happened with them. So if you're listening in Houston and you are an Astros or Texas fan, I know that you would probably have some. You probably are having some dizziness of your head spinning for each and every other way. Nothing happens with the Houston Rockets. So that is it for this episode of the Game According to Me. Once again, make sure that if you want to support me, there are many ways to do it. I have now a Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/AJTrip, you can sign up for any of the tiers. There's a $1 tier, a $10 tier, and a $25 tier. If you sign up for the $10 or $25 tier, then once I get to a 100 Patreons, I will open up the suggestion box and you can suggest, if you want, what type of videos you want me to do on YouTube, what type of topics you want me to cover on my um podcast here, and I would do it. I think I would do a special podcast for that, and also you would be able to select from the games that I have, what game you would like to see me stream on Twitch. So there are many options that would happen. So if you want to go to Patreon, you can, or you can just go to anchorfm.com, search Andre's Triplets, um, Andre Triplet Show, and you can be able to support me that way as well, straight on Anchor FM. There's 3 tiers on there as well. Nothing special. You don't get anything special, but you just be supporting me with either 99¢, $4.99, or $9.99. So believe me, no matter what you do, whether it's on Anchor FM, whether it's on Patreon, anything if you just feel the need to support me, that's all that matters to me, and that's a special thing for me. So I appreciate that. Whatever you do, I really do. So yes, make sure that if you want to do that, you can take the description box, um, or if there is no description box, once again, patreon.com/AJTrip or anchor.fm, search Andre Triple Show. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is your boy AJ Trip signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.